So I know I was supposed to be posting 12 days of Vlogmas. I was supposed to record and post a video every single day for the 12 days leading up to Christmas, but the beginning of our trip to Barbados was just so hectic that posting a video every day would have been almost impossible. I fell behind and things just weren't working out. So what I decided to do was to compile all of the footage that I took during our trip, and I just put it into one big video. Before I get into the video, I just wanted to ask you guys to subscribe if you haven't already, and turn on the notifications so that you don't miss a video from me. So where do I begin? Okay, so I could talk forever explaining this whole story of what happened the day that we flew to Barbados, but long story short, the day that we were supposed to be leaving, I lost my passport. I honestly thought that it was in a particular place, and a few hours before we were supposed to leave, I went to go grab it and it wasn't there. And what we ended up doing was 6 out of the 7 of us were supposed to fly from Detroit to Fort Lauderdale, and from Fort Lauderdale to Florida. From Fort Lauderdale to Barbados. And my mom said she had to work on Friday. She was gonna leave on Saturday morning. And what we did was I ended up flying with the rest of my family to Fort Lauderdale, and I stayed in Fort Lauderdale at my aunt's house. And after my mom got off work on Friday, she looked for my passport, and luckily she found it. So my mom and I were on the same flight to Barbados. They rebooked me at no extra charge, and we flew to Barbados together, and she ended up giving me my passport when I was in Fort Lauderdale. I was able to fly to Fort Lauderdale because you can fly within the US with just your driver's license, and I don't know if that's going to change. I kind of heard that they might change that, but I was able to fly to Fort Lauderdale, and then she found my passport, and we flew to Barbados together on Saturday. So the clip that you're about to see is us flying from Detroit to Fort Lauderdale, and then when we got to Fort Lauderdale, we just had lunch at this Mexican place, and then I ended up staying in Florida, and then the rest of my family flew to Barbados.
The tall you try to say him name not nice. I think some other man did it about. I remember.
A holiday time again. Make me tell you no this holiday time come. A party time again. Get some.
So I ended up taking an Uber to my aunt's house, and the footage that you're about to see is not from my camera. It's actually footage that my older brother Tristan took on his GoPro. So the footage that you're about to see is courtesy of him.
Inna the party me did a drink up. While on me ring dance them you link up. A galley that says she want cut with me, you know. Brown in the dead, so me dey remember that they done. Me not to remember where it one, you know. Me crashing out the parking lot. Never do business to me France. Last night it body now. Yeah. Everybody come knock up and Billy under the bus. We party ram up, everybody da move. Me see France, me see DJ whistle go. Some of me all time I'm failed up. Gyal a turn a devil and I do what me say fi do. Killer you're the line there.
They said once I get to Barbados that I should file a claim for a lost bag, and I was just under the impression that I would get my bag within the next few days, but it's January 20th, and I still don't have my suitcase. So I'm in the process of filing a claim to get money to repurchase everything that was in my suitcase. So yeah, thanks JetBlue. But once we got to Barbados, we ended up going to Bridgetown, and we just kind of hung out and went shopping for stuff for me since I didn't have anything. And yeah, we just hung out, and that's gonna be what you're gonna see right now.
Dodgy on the left hand side, pass the 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 dodgy on the left hand side. Big fat hole in case them man ride. I'm with a bad bitch, you wanna get man fight. So pass the dodgy on the left hand side. The sexy Sean, another one hate us. Big batty girl from Barbados, I'm a sweet cocoa. She me from Ghana, keeps me coming back around like karma. They wanna see me grab a beater. I just wanna settle down with my mamacita. They didn't wanna know me before, now they wanna spend time. What you phoning me for? What do you want from me? You keep phoning me constantly. Your man say he's gonna come for me, but he don't want his problems, no, he don't want his problems. Pass the dodgy on the left hand side, 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 pass the dodgy on the left hand side. Big fat tool in case them man ride. I'm with a bad bitch, you wanna get man fight.
So we decided to donate to this AIDS charity, and we collected just a bunch of food and made some food boxes, and we put together little pouches of candy for families who had, you know, kids. And it was nice to, you know, do something like that on Christmas vacation, because a lot of times I feel like Christmas is more so a holiday to be gluttonous and be a bit greedy and just think about yourself. So it was nice for all of us to go and volunteer and help out. And yep, that's the footage that you're gonna see right now.
But you're a miracle today, and God has always made a way. If you have food to eat, a place to sleep, and you really can't complain. If you're a miracle today, and God has always made a way. If you have food to eat, a place to sleep, and you really can't complain. This song is for you.
No problem, no problem.
No problem, no problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Baby yeah, there's something about the way you talk. Baby, come wine for me. I mash it up so much that you never come walk. So don't take your time on me. She ain't had a boy like me before. She says I take her body on her toes. She knows that I'm still that nigga chilling on the block. I'm still that nigga chilling on the block. She said there's nothing she will do for me. She ain't there for me. 24's like a 2 for free. 2 for free. She said, oh, the girl, oh, the mentality. I'm still a baby boy, so she's usually mad at me. I'm getting love from these groupies, I know, but you're the only one. But you're the only one. But you're the only one. The MDS, the MDS, when they see us, me and you. The MDS, the MDS, when they see us, me and you.
We just go out, roll it with my boo, they gon' say now. I know that you're colder than me. Know that you're colder than me. Say that body, yeah, say that body, don't sleep. Always on my mind, what you do to me. Baby, put your body over me. I'm making it scream. Coming on me all night. Mash up the thing, me no in on a shy guy. With the thing, oh, I rap and pop off, me no in on a dry guy. They envious, they envious. Them girl want you. They envious, but them I got play a number two. He said there's nothing he won't do for me. He's there for me 24/7. He want it. He want it. He said, you're the girl I wanna show them my family. Even though you're older, I know you're gonna me. We getting love from them groupies, I know, but you're the only one.
But you're the only one. But you're the only one. The MDS, the MDS, when they see us, me and you. The MDS, the MDS, when they see us, me and you.
She said that she got tips on you, and she be hanging with the crew.
She talking shit, yeah, I see her in the dance with the gang, but she was just another girl in the room.
Just know I got my eyes on you, so you coulda never take me for fool.
You see right now, living like a dancer, no fool, she want me, she won't ever tell the truth.
Pull up in an automobile with black wheels, red on my feet like somebody blood spilled. My swag dangerous, my swag kills. They can't hang with us, they ain't real. Me, I'm the thing where them want get them girl dead out, dash them in a casket. Me no penny pussy, but they done have to scorn them. Them never ready when they done and they don't want them. Blue light murder, kill everything. 5 minutes for 1 man to me team. Papa have to live on the hill with the finest. Unto, me know them not like this.
There ain't no party like a RDX party.
No party.
Architect. Me a talk about phone party, water party, pool party, after party, beach party, water party, club party. Every sound system on my radio, and every liquor on the tea. Behind every club bar on me fridge, check the VIP lounge card, that's where me live. Every man in a the place I'm a linky. Every gal up in a this is a target. We a party hard, chuck off the hardship. The party God call me your launchip. We live for party. And we never say over car, we no carry walkie-talkie. A party now we soul, we no sell it to the Illuminati. We a spend freely, you woulda check say we win the lottery. Me charge like a battery.
We loving this party life. Man and girl a couple up, make this party nice. Volume book a spot, yes, so turned up. Phone party, water party, pool party, after party, beach party, water party, club party, after party.
Every dance floor on me red carpet. Feel me ear freshener, name Kush. And me chop up me bed, cause me done with sleep. Music are the drugs when me push. And me have a club light on me nightstand. We a watch on me left and me right hand. Smoke till we lungs black like a oil pan. And when it's up 2 years after we lifespan, we live for party. And we never say over car, we no carry walkie-talkie. A party now we soul, we no sell it to the Illuminati. We a spend freely, you woulda check say we win the lottery. Me charge like a battery.
We loving this party life. Man and girl a couple up, make this party nice. Volume book a spot, yes, so turned up. Phone party, water party, pool party, after party, beach party, water party, club party. Loving this party life. Man and girl a couple up, make this party nice.
it's not too late. Our hearts are hungry for the food that won't come, and we could make a feast from these crumbs. And we're all staring down the barrel of our guns. So if your life lasts before you, what would you wish you would have done? Yeah, we gotta stop looking at the hands of the time we've been giving it. This is all we got, then we gotta stop thinking it. Every second counts on the clock that's ticking. Gotta live like we're dying. We only got 86 full 100 seconds in a day to turn it all around or to throw it all away. Gotta tell them that we love them while we got the chance to say. Gotta live like we're dying. Oh. If your plane fell out of the skies, who would you call with your last goodbye? Should be so careful who we let fall out our lives. When we long for absolution, there'll be no one on the line. Yeah, we gotta stop looking at the hands of the time we've been giving it. This is all we got, then we gotta stop thinking it. Every second counts on the clock that's ticking. Gotta live like we're dying. We only got 86 full 100 seconds in a day to turn it all around or to throw it all away. Gotta tell them that we love them while we got the chance to say. Gotta live like we're dying, oh, like we're dying, oh, like we're dying, like we're dying, oh, like we're dying. We only got 86 full 100 seconds in a day to turn it all around or to throw it all away. Gotta tell them that we love them while we got the chance to say. Gotta live like we're dying.
When your legs don't work like they used to before, and I can't sweep you off of your feet. Will your mouth still remember the taste of my love? Will your eyes still smile from your cheeks? Darling, I will be loving you till eternity. Oh, yeah. Baby, my heart was before last hard at 23.
From now on, our troubles will be out of sight. So have yourself a merry little Christmas night.
Have yourself a merry little Christmas. Let your heart be light. From now on, our troubles will be out of sight. Oh, yeah.
Have yourself a merry little Christmas.
Yo, Shaggy. Yo, Cuz.
Family,
Yo, Unrollers.
I me say family. If I want thing, me hate a fern killer. Me no believe in a fern killer. Family, I me say family. Me love me family, them to me heart. Me would dare one of them. Real killy dead to the end, dead from me start. Me real better them. Cause them no know when we a buy 3 sardine and the 1 pound of rice from shop. And them no know when we a get chased by cops and the drop. And all the woman make it now. Me know how struggle feel. And me know all of them. And me know how real now make them trick me and kill me. No way, you must see. Mad life are the greatest thing that me no left. And me no left, my God. Can't trick me and kill me. No way, you must see. Mad life are the greatest thing that
me energy them want thief. When me see it clear, say them a mangoes. Them know say that you then a friend. Me no play like rhythm and blues. Man loyal, too loyal. Someone with his sink off like poor trial. Informer want judge have me pan trial. Them days them me don't just no boy nor girl. Me no know if heaven is real, but me know fi a fuck I know every man real. Some boy heart dirty not clean. Them no want see a next youth living in. Kill every evil and demon. Them can't stop me in Nigeria Island. Anytime me a drive on my van, big fat na me right hand. Now make them trick me and kill me.
Go. They're coming up. Why he don't hold it back? They're both doing that. Good job. Good job, Adriana. Go.
So towards the end of our trip, we decided to take one last journey to the beach, and that morning was just really hectic. So my parents, they dropped us all off at the bus stop, and we were gonna just take the bus into town and just go to Oystons and then go to Miami Beach. And once we were at the bus stop, Callum realized that he didn't have his wallet on him. So we left my siblings, Tristan, Io, Gabe, and Jem at the bus stop, and Callum and I and my parents went back to my aunt's house to go look for the wallet. 5-10 minutes after we leave, we find the wallet in this like secret compartment in his backpack, and we're on our way back to the bus stop. Now, my siblings were supposed to catch the bus or the ZR, whichever one came first, and just go on into town, and we were gonna meet them there. And we get to the bus stop and my siblings are still there, and I'm just like, why didn't y'all catch the bus? Like, we saw a bus pass by, so we know that a bus passed by, and y'all could have been on our bus. Like, what happened? Come to find out, this is what they were doing.
Go ahead. Hey.
Okay. It's freestyle
Woo,
time.
woo, woo, blah.
Okay. My name is Io.
It's the bus.
They don't want us?
Okay, because me clean every day. Clocks and my beat me change 3 times a day. Boy out any bar, cause me have money fi pay. You know it's a Rasta not stray. I'm okay. For look at the sky. Batman serious, me not tell no lie. Me not turn no G, I am. I couldn't wait them a stop. Dig up the sign, make a plant up the crop. All ganja man, you know how me a chat. The other day me police stop. Them say Beanie Man, me a some of other ride and crash. Bounty go to jail, but him just come back. Trooper put it for YouTube, I hear thing that my career them not stop. I'm okay, because me clean every day. Clocks them a beat me change 3 times a day. Buy out any bar, cause me have money fi pay. You know say Rasta not stray. I'm okay. Fi look a girl, me not shy. Money stack and pipe straight up to the sky.
So that's pretty much the end of our trip to Barbados. It was honestly one of the most memorable trips I think that we've taken as a family. It was honestly just craziness the whole trip, but it was a lot of fun. And the trip back to the US was a long trip. We flew from Barbados to Toronto on Air Canada. I think that was the only option that we had in terms of flights leaving out that day, since, you know, people have, you know, work and stuff to get back to. So we had to fly back on Air Canada and obviously fly into Toronto. And then we stayed at a hotel. We slept at that hotel for like 3 hours, got up, went straight back to the airport. And while we were at the airport, I guess there's this like new rule that you have to boot up your computers or electronics if you're traveling through, and they select you, like randomly select you to boot up all your electronics. And my sister Jamila, we just realized this, like she always gets chosen, randomly selected to, you know, do extra screening. And we realized like her name's Arabic, so we wonder if that's kind of why they always pick her. But she was randomly selected to go through this extra screening process, and she had her laptop on her, and for whatever reason her laptop was working fine the whole trip. Her laptop would not turn on at the airport, and they said, well, if it doesn't turn off, if it doesn't turn on, you're gonna have to leave your laptop at the airport. And so she ended up having to leave her laptop, and we almost missed our flight coming from Toronto to Detroit, but we ended up making it like last minute. And we flew from Toronto to Detroit, and then we took the Michigan Flyer from Detroit to Lansing. So it was a really long journey, and it wouldn't be right, I guess, if something didn't go wrong, because that whole trip was just insane. But we finally got back and just resumed life as normal, I guess. So that's the end of the video. If you got to the end of the video, thank you. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel, and just stay tuned for more travel videos in the future. I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.
Can't nobody get up in my car today. Backseat feeling like a charter plane. Bumping so the shocker charge it to the game. Paint dripping like I'm whipping marmalade.